2021 continues to lay waste to so many things that we love. We've lost another film stock. It's time to say goodbye to Fuji Pro400H. Except not really, because it's probably not going anywhere. And I'll tell you why. Welcome to another episode of The Photo Department. Yes, I am drinking coffee, in case you were wondering. No one was wondering, everyone knew I was drinking coffee. Today I'm drinking something that might get me in trouble, but I don't care because I love this coffee. I don't mind the criticism. This is Califia Mocha cold brew with almond milk. It's the stuff you can buy at the store. It's like $4 or something, and it comes in a big jug that looks like a bowling pin. And it's actually really delightful. And I've liked it for a while and I've kept it a secret, but I'm not keeping it a secret anymore. I love this coffee. It's really delicious. And it's super warm today. It's in the low 90s in Los Angeles right now in January. So, no shame. I'm in the middle of really trying to put Lomography's 400 and 800 speed color negative films through their paces to see if it is film that I want to fold into my regular kind of rotation of film that I use. I shot a roll of Lomo 400 35mm last weekend in my Nikkor F2 and I really loved it. It looks really nice, and with very minimal editing I got exactly what I wanted out of that film, which was surprising, but also I don't know why I'm surprised. So I loaded up the Rolleiflex with a roll of Lomo 800. I'm going to be metering it at 400, but I thought, I think I should say something about what's going on with Pro400H, because the internet is absolutely freaking the hell out about the fact that this film is being discontinued. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at what's going on before we freak out. You'll notice I'm using my purple windscreen. That is to honor the Pro400H colors. I thought that was appropriate. I will say right off the bat, I'm not really a Pro400H shooter. I've shot it before and I really like it, but it's always been just a little bit too expensive for me to consider for most of my work and even client work. It's just an expensive film. I love Fuji's Superior line. We all know this. I have a Instagram account I just started called @ExtraSuperior to feature cool work that people have done on Superior. So it's not that I don't love Fujifilm, because I really do. It's just when you can save money on film, that's great. This is actually the only roll of Pro400H that I have in my fridge. One roll of 35mm Pro400H. That's all I got. All that said, there's a couple of reasons why I think that we need to not freak out about Pro400H, because I don't think it's going anywhere. So this first reason is circumstantial evidence that is entirely made up by me, based on Fujifilm's history of discontinuing films. You might remember back in October 2017 that Fuji announced that they were discontinuing their Neopan Acros 1, the first generation of Fuji Acros, and everyone crapped their pants, including myself. I made a video called The Death of Fuji Acros. It's up here, and you should watch it. I was really upset because that film has a very distinctive look. It's very smooth. It was very easy to work with. It was, at the time, my favorite black and white film to shoot. A lot of people lamented the death of the Neopan line of Fujifilm black and white films. The reason that Fuji gave for discontinuing Acros was that they couldn't find or couldn't source the materials needed to make that emulsion anymore, which happens. Emulsions are based on different chemical compositions, and some of them are proprietary and some of them are rare things that we use up, and then we can't make that thing anymore. So everyone was all bummed and thinking they'll never see their beautiful Acros again. And then just shy of a year later, they announced the Acros Neopan 2, which was a surprise to me and a lot of people. I was really skeptical because, like I said, the first generation of Acros had a really specific look and texture and was really nice, and I was a huge fan of the way it looked, everything about it. So I got some Acros 2 and I shot it, and I put the two next to each other, and wow, you just can't tell the difference. It looks exactly the same. And what happened there is that Fuji reformulated the emulsion and figured out a way to basically make it look exactly the same while using different compounds. I'm not surprised that they were able to do this because Fujifilm is a humongous corporation and they do cosmetics and a bunch of other stuff. And they have a huge team and teams of scientists in that company that are able to come up with all sorts of cool stuff. They use the miracle of science to bring us a second generation of Acros that looks exactly like the first generation. In fact, if you put a gun to my head and you put a Acros 1 image and an Acros 2 image next to each other and you're like, tell me which one is the original Acros, you'd probably end up putting a bullet in my head because I could not tell you. The second circumstantial evidence that I have is that one of the cool things that Fuji likes to purport with their Pro400H and also their Superior line is that Fuji has a fourth layer of emulsion or a fourth color layer. It's a cyan color layer. A lot of people love this feature and it's something that they talk about in their marketing materials all the time. So in the actual announcement for the discontinuation of Pro400H, it says that Pro400H film is a unique product that is coated with a fourth layer requiring specialized raw materials and chemicals. Well, that's certainly true. They also have other products that have that fourth color layer. They also go on to say, please note that this announced discontinuation applies only to Pro400H color film. Fujifilm will continue to produce and sell its consumer color negative, color reversal, and black and white film stocks to photographers. So they're basically saying they can't produce the Pro400H because they can't get the chemicals for the fourth layer, but they're saying they will continue to produce the other color negative films, which also have a fourth color layer, which leads me to believe they're probably just going to reformulate it and come out with a Fuji Pro400H2. This is just circumstantial and I just came up with this. But if you look at their history with film, especially if you look at Acros and Acros 2, this would make sense. Now, the third piece of evidence I have, which is not circumstantial, this is actually something I heard from a source inside Fuji, who I will not be naming. It's very, very top secret, and they'd be really mad if I told you who this was. The reason why that second piece of circumstantial evidence makes more sense, when I asked my source at Fuji, hey, you guys have other films, other color films that have a fourth color layer. Does that mean that you guys can reformulate the emulsion for Pro400H and come up with a new version like the Acros 2 that just has a different formulation but has basically the same look and makeup? And they were unable to confirm, but they definitely did not deny it. In fact, I said, will you deny it? And they said no. So what I am firmly believing is that the Pro400H that we know now, this generation of Pro400H, yeah, it's going away. And they have to make that claim. And I have to say that because they're getting rid of an actual product that we all know we've been purchasing and is under a specific like trademarked name. If they have to come out with a new emulsion, that's a new product, they have to come out under a new name, which is why Acros 2 is Acros 2 and not just Acros 1 and they secretly reformulated it. I think they're going to reformulate this. It's going to come out as Fuji Pro400H2 and everyone's going to be fine. That being said, there are a lot of people online who are purchasing a buttload of this generation of Pro400H with the intent to resell it at a steep markup. To those people, I say shame on you. You are opportunists and you're taking people's love for a historically loved film stock and leveraging that love and that loyalty to make money. And that's gross. That's really, really gross. So if you're doing that, if you're stockpiling 400H intending to sell it above market price, I think you're gross. And I think that you should quit photography and work at the IRS or something. That's what you should do. If you're buying a bunch of Fujifilm stock to stock up because you love shooting it, well, hey, no one can blame you for that. But I will say, relax. Everything's going to be cool. I promise you. I can't promise. I'm pretty sure this will still be available to shoot for years to come. Our wedding photographer friends, you guys shouldn't freak out either. I know that a lot of you love this stuff and rely on it for your day-to-day work, but I think you're going to be safe. 2021 has been really difficult, but let's not let it get us down. Let's not succumb to the darkness. Film is here. It's not going anywhere. That's my spiel. That's what I think. If you think otherwise, or if you have other evidence or other ideas of what might happen to Fuji's Pro400H, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you think I'm wrong and have evidence to the contrary, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you hate Pro400H, Tell me why. I'm interested to know why you hate it. If you love it, I would also like to know why you love it so much. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for joining me in this random out of nowhere video. And I hope I'm right. Now I'm going to go catch the last bit of sunlight in my neighborhood with this Rolleiflex loaded with Lomo 800. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Goodbye.